Okay, I got a question for you. So in chapter 1137 of One Piece, we find out that Shamrock and Shanks are twins, Shanks being the younger twin, and they are both the sons of Figlin Garland, who is a newly appointed Five Elder. With that being said, we also find out that Shanks at some point returned to Mary Joie, right? You know what I'm thinking? What if when he returned to Mary Joie, much like how Sanji got a gift from his family in the form of his raid suit, what if Shanks got the gift of Griffin, which may or may not have a devil fruit? And the reason why I say this is because it can't be a coincidence that the sword of Figlin Garland, Figlin Shamrock, and I presume Figlin Shanks all have the same shape language, and two of them now are named after mythical creatures. The only difference is that a griffin, technically in the world of One Piece, we find out in Whole Cake Island, thanks to Big Mom, is not a mythical creature, as griffins are said to exist in the South Blue, which we find out from Big Mom as she's thumbing through her book of weird animals. So, with that being said, I could see Griffin being the bad one and Cerberus being the good one, because under that pretense, one could come to the conclusion in saying that Griffin, if it is a Zoan fruit user, is probably a normal and or ancient Zoan fruit user. It's not mythical like Cerberus. Maybe this is why Shanks never makes the sword transform into any of its other states, because he feels as though that's relying on the power of his family, and he wants to prove his own worth as a swordsman and stand on his own 2 feet. So that's why he deems the transformations of the sword worthless, because they aren't of his power, they are of his family's power, and he wants no part of that. But to continue, theme of One Piece seems to be is that if the animal isn't distinctly stated to be an animal that exists in the real world, it's most likely a mythical creature and therefore it does not exist. We see this many, many times throughout the story. For example, we were introduced to dinosaurs in Little Garden before there ever was any mention of there being dinosaur fruits or fruits that turned you into prehistoric animals. So that sets the precedent that yes, these type of animals exist in this world. Therefore, when you see a devil fruit taking the power of that animal, that's not a mythical creature. That animal actually exists. But to counter that, we also know, and this is kind of going into video game land, so you can take this with a grain of salt, but video games have been important in the past. In One Piece Red World, there is a pen that ate the mythical depiction of a tanuki. As you know, in the canon, we have a teapot that ate the actual raccoon dog tanuki fruit, the actual real animal. So even though there could be a real animal variation of a devil fruit, there can also be a mythical depiction of that same animal turned into a devil fruit. So we'll have to see what role Griffin goes down if it is a devil fruit user. But I do think he got that sword from his father or from his brother when he returned to the Holy Land, because we've seen him as a child with a similar sword, but I doubt that's the same sword he has as an adult. With that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. What?